Hey everyone, I hope that you are all doing well on this July 4th. And I hope that you're able to take a little time off. Maybe you're not even going to see this video for a couple of days. That's all great. I just finished reading the discussions for Module 2, and I just wanted to check in and tell you all to give yourselves a pat on the back, and also to let you know that if you missed that discussion or if you still need to make another post, you can do that for credit. Remember that there are no late penalties, no penalties for late work in our class. So as you're able to get to those assignments, please do. Please let me know if you have any questions about that or if I can help with anything. I appreciate those of you who responded to my question about the reasons perhaps for using the different books that we're reading each module. So we're of course using Michael Gonzalez, Justin Castro, and Mark Wasserman's edited anthology of documents about the Mexican Revolution. And I appreciated getting your perspectives on how those books work together. Of course, Gonzalez gives us a synthesis, kind of a narrative overview of the revolution. It's especially helpful for those of us who have never studied the revolution before in much detail. That's where we can get the overall story. And as you pointed out, Castro's work is a history of technology that is focused on the event of the Mexican Revolution. Some of you emphasized the fact that his book started as his doctoral dissertation, and that definitely shaped the format and the directions that it took in certain ways. It's also important to realize, there was some work that went into it to change it, right? To revamp it from a dissertation into a monograph. And a lot of that can be seen in the introductory chapter and the ways that he engages with the historiography of the revolution and the historiography of technology, histories of technology. In the dissertation, that stuff would have been very kind of front and center. It would have been a lot more explicit and direct in the narrative of the writing. And instead, it's sort of alluded to, right, in the book form. He mentions my approach engages with these different bodies of literature, but you have to go to the footnotes to really see which books he's citing and which ideas he's most directly engaging with. And that's something that, as you all mentioned, it's an effort to make the history more readable. And so there's that other question of, are authors writing for a general audience or for a more academic one? And Castro's book is one of those that it tries to straddle that line. I think the University of Nebraska Press does a pretty good job with their authors, and I'm hoping it'll be the same. I'm working with them right now. In my case, of turning out or helping to create books that kind of do both, that can be interesting and readable for a general audience, but that also engage with the scholarship on a given topic. So again, just some things to think about. I think we've done a good job discussing some of the main issues of the Porfiriato in our conversations on Twitter and on the discussion board, especially in terms of foreign investment and the way that Mexican people, at best, kind of took a back seat to all of the investment and the gains that were going on, unless they were in Diaz's circle of científicos or something. But for the most part, most Mexicans did not enjoy the gains of the Porfiriato. And then, of course, in the first decade of the 20th century, an economic downturn really laid the inequalities bare in a lot more direct fashion. And so a lot of those things, together contributed to the beginning of the revolution. So this week, of course, we're studying the early course of the revolution. We're going to look at Francisco Madero, some of the limitations with his efforts to create a democratic system for Mexico. And much as we were talking about the limits of 19th century liberalism with Diaz, of course, and also with Benito Juarez a bit in our discussions, I think it's important for us to kind of concentrate on this question of if Madero was the apostle of democracy, as he was often called, what did his brand of democracy look like, and would we call that democracy ourselves? So I guess thinking about what are the limitations of his approach to what Mexico most needed in the early 20th century. All right, I'll leave you with that. Next time I see you, I will be coming to you from Mexico City. So very excited about that. Hope that you're doing well, and I'll talk to you again soon.